This particular variant is the AU, so the latest model of the Falcon. As you can see, before starting any port work, the guides have been removed. It's better to start with a clean cylinder head. One of the first things that we need to do is work out the cross-sectional areas we need, which will be based on the engine size, the RPM target. You can do the maths and calculate that. Then we use a telescopic bore gauge to keep a check and make sure that the size is right and consistent. Now this cylinder head is sitting upside down, the injector bosses along at the top, but you can see that they're at the bottom at the moment. What I'm doing is I'm removing the majority of the material from the roof of the port and the sides. This is to bring up the center line of the port more towards the roof. Next we're looking at the bowl of the intake port here. This needs to be sized correctly for high horsepower or high RPM. I use a 90% throat, which is 90% of the diameter of the valve head itself. I go through, size that, open it up by hand, and then it is a blend job to the valve seat. What I do is put in a guide coat of sorts. It is a emery roll, but it's got a bit of WD-40 on it, leaves a little bit of a sludge. Then I can actually go through and grind and see that it's more consistent, if there's any high or low spots, and sort those out. Here we're looking at the short turn radius of the intake port, a crucial part of the intake. In the corners of these ports there's plenty of material to actually widen the floor. You take some extra material out of those corners, make it a little wider, and make sure that the radius that goes from the seat ring into the main runner is nice and consistent. If the short turn radius isn't consistent all the way to the seat ring, what will happen is, especially at high RPM, the air will separate and go turbulent. This will shut down the flow of the port and power will drop off. Looking through the exhaust port now, these are quite well sized for the application of the 4 litre 6-cylinder. It's mainly a clean up in here, blending the bowl into the seat ring, and it's more about the seat cut itself than any major changes. Comparing the two chambers now of the stock cylinder head and the one that's being modified, the stock cylinder head actually has a wing in there. It's a swirl wing. It's to help with emissions and low down torque, where these engines spend most of their life. In the high performance category, we lay that wing back. We want to get as much low and mid-lift flow out of this cylinder head as possible to meet the CFM demand, so we lay this back, blend it back into the chamber, and the chamber is just smooth. It doesn't have to be mirror polished, but it needs to be smooth. After having the valve seats recut and matched to their valves, you always have to check that there's full contact with the seat and the face of the valve. You can use the blue, Perisher blue, put it on there, tap the valve down once, don't spin it, and then pop it back out, and you should be able to see a perfect contact patch. Should leave it onto the seat all the way around, nice and consistent. The exhaust valve will be wider, and the intake valve, I normally position the seat towards more of the outside edge. This particular head is running stainless steel valves. They are stock size. The guides have been replaced and shaped, and after CC checking the chambers, after a light skim, it's still worked out at the stock 64cc chamber. Well, I do hope you enjoyed a little bit of a quick tutorial and a bit of an idea or a guide if you want to have a go at this yourself. They're actually a reasonably easy cylinder head to port and not get too wrong. They are harder to get exceptional results out of, but they are very forgiving and they work very well. Alright, thank you very much.